From the Times and the Sunday Times, this is the story. I'm David Woode. I'm the crime editor at the Times. One night last year, I arrived back at my station in South London in the early hours of the morning. I went to collect a train ticket, and as I stood at the machine, I noticed a couple of kids. They couldn't have been older than 13. On their own, in the middle of the night, a rucksack on their back and an ancient phone in one of their hands. I watched as they waited. People streamed past and paid them no attention, but I recognised the signs. As a crime reporter, I spent hours sitting on press benches in courts all around the country. And I've seen these kids, or kids like them, in the dock, looking bored as their barristers explain how they got wrapped up in selling Class A drugs for county lines gangs. Now, we've been talking about county lines all week, focusing on how the police have been fighting back against drug organisations in York. But that moment in the station made me want to hear directly from the children actually involved in county lines. And then I met Mike. That's not his real name. He's in his early 20s, and he stopped selling drugs for a county lines gang a few years ago. He agreed to tell me all about his experiences for the very first time. The story today, On the Line. Episode 4, Mike. Like those kids I saw in the station, Mike spent his early years in London.
My life was pretty fun for the most part. I had a lot of friends, used to be going out often, but it was a bit rough as well.
What do you mean?
Like the area I did live in wasn't the richest growing up. There was a bit of violence around my area, some loose screws, I would say.
Can you remember how you felt about seeing that type of violence in like an area that you called home?
I mean, at the start, I didn't really know the severity of it because I was so young. So at the time, I was somewhat enticed about the lifestyle that the people in my area had compared to me, at least.
So how did it start? Can you remember the first time somebody approached you to maybe try to entice you to do something?
I mean, I was walking down to the shop at first. I did see an older guy. He normally always stands there. It's a Morley's. Morley's is just a chicken shop.
It's a chain, isn't it? Like around...
A chain around London.
Okay.
He's always in the corner there. I'm walking to the shop. I come out of the shop and he says, yo, he came to me, he's talking to me about drugs and stuff and telling me if I go to certain places, I can get a couple bills, like £300 to £400. And from that young age, it really did entice me because like I said, I never really had that back then.
How old were you at the time?
Probably I'll say about 16, 15.
Can you remember the first time he asked you to do something for him?
I remember the first time. It was actually the same day I met him as well. He was asking me to just go to a house. He said he would give me drugs, and all I had to do is just give certain pebbles or items out to each customer that comes to the door. I was a bit skeptical, but I did want to try it.
What drugs were you asked to take?
Crack and heroin.
Had you ever seen crack or heroin before?
Never before that. It was in like a cling film bag and they were all wrapped up individually into little rocks in another cling films, white and black, to identify which ones they were.
How long were you there for at that address?
I was there for about 3-4 days.
You were there for 3 or 4 days? Sounds a bit silly, but like, were you able to leave? Did you have a spare change of clothes? Did you have money to go buy food?
I didn't change clothes. I was in my same clothes from the start. Was allowed £10-15 every day to get some food, but yeah.
This is such a transition from someone just approaching you on the street to basically putting you in a property, a trap house. Can you remember how you felt like on day 3 or day 4?
I didn't really like staying there, obviously, because it was very dirty, and normally I'll just stick to one location, like a chair, and I just wouldn't get up from that chair. Day 3, day 4, it started to get a little toll on me because I kind of lost a lot of weight, and the fumes of sitting in the house of the addicts actually smoking it was getting to me as well. So by them days, I kind of started to dread it a little bit.
Were you able to be reached by your parents if they were trying to get you on the phone, like asking where were you, if you'd been gone for 2, 3, 4 days?
They would call me. Normally I would bluff saying I'm at my friend's house. They would get on to me, obviously. So I'll just carry on saying I'm at my friend's house, I'm at my friend's house. So with the school situation, I just told my mother I was sick. That's how I kind of worked around it.
So basically, there was like lots of spinning of plates.
Precisely.
At the end of those 4 days, did he come and collect the money?
Yes, he would come. Or I would just go out and meet him somewhere and I'd give him the money. Close to £1,000, I would say.
And was he running other young people in different addresses?
Yes. Definitely more than 2, not including me.
So potentially he's making £3,000 every 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
When you look back, can you see how quickly the power imbalance took hold on you and how essentially this man who's making a lot of money was basically exploiting you?
I can see that now, but at the time, I was very blinded. I didn't see it at all, because obviously I wouldn't have done it.
So you're walking away from that front door with £300 to £400 in your pocket. What did you buy?
I did kind of just buy a lot of foolishness, because at the time I was smoking as well. So first thing I did buy like a Z of weed, 24 grams of weed.
Right.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
Like 120. That was the first thing I brought because I did like smoking. Went out with my friends, spent a lot of money on stupidness, food, drinks.
What about material objects? Did you buy like clothes, trainers?
I only bought like a jacket, like a windbreaker jacket.
Did you go into like central London to buy it?
Yeah, precisely.
How did you feel like walking through central London with all that money in your pocket at like 16 years old?
It did feel very, very good. Yeah, it did. I won't even lie. I did feel like somewhat of a man going in, buying my own clothes for the first time with a lot of money, because we never used to have the funds. So when I did get that type of money, I felt like I kind of could spread my wings a little bit, if that makes sense. Go to the shop and buy whatever I desire. It did feel very prideful, and I think that's where I kind of get addicted. At the time, I didn't see the risk. I didn't know how severe it was at the time. I just saw loads of cash. I was like, yeah, I want this.
Mike tells me he was open to the idea of doing more work, just not with that guy who asked him the first time.
He was very stern with it, kind of rude. Like, he didn't really respect me in a sense. I was just like one of his expendable workers. He did try to shout me again, because obviously I used to go out all the time around the area and he was always posted by the mollies. So he did try to shout me a couple of times, but I kind of talked my way out of it.
The man waiting outside the chicken shop kept asking, started applying pressure.
I was just thinking he's going to carry on asking me again and again.
Did you feel trapped at the time?
Yeah, when he was pressuring me, I couldn't really get out of it in a way, because he was just always there. There was literally no avoiding him. He was out a lot. Like, he would kind of talk to me stern and be like, yo, you got to do this, that. And obviously, he was much bigger than me. He did used to rough me about a little bit to kind of like make sure that he knew that he was serious. It was a bit scary in a sense, because I didn't really want to do it anymore.
Eventually, though, Mike agreed to return to dealing.
I would have a pedal bike, and obviously around the estate, addicts would come to different parts of the estate, and I would just go pedal to them and give them certain items.
How did you feel like on a pedal bike carrying, I'm assuming, Class A drugs? Crack, heroin?
Yeah.
Did you ever feel a little bit exposed or a bit vulnerable?
No, I didn't feel them type of emotions. I would not lie. I kind of felt like a man in a sense. Like, I kind of felt a bit too prideful. I was thinking, yeah, I'm top guy. I was really enjoying it at the time, I'm afraid.
When we were talking earlier, you talked about how your family would call you to find out where you are. Can I ask, what was your relationship like with your parents at the time?
My relationship was all right. Obviously, I never lived with my dad. He lived on the other side of London, so he wasn't really there as much. It was just my mum. My relationship with my mother was pretty decent, I would say.
Were you close?
Depends what you mean.
Could you talk to her about anything?
I didn't want to talk to her because I didn't want her to worry. I would do something like 2 truths and a lie to hide where I was going because, like I said, I never wanted her to worry because when she starts worrying, she would call me consistently, get on my case a lot, and I just didn't want that to happen.
Do you think she suspected something was wrong?
Yeah, yeah, she
Mums
did.
know, right? Did she ever try to approach you about this?
She did a couple times. She would ask if I was involved in drugs or if I was smoking, because at the time I was smoking and I did try to hide it a lot from her as well. But I just kept denying it for the sole reason of not letting her worry.
How do you think she felt?
She was probably... That's a good question. I never really thought about that one, if I'm being honest. Damn.
Did the pressure start to build over time?
She did used to get more like in my business, try to ask more questions, especially when I'm away from home overnights as well.
And from outside, were there pressures to go to more addresses, to have more drugs to sell?
Yeah, it was because in my area there was other people that was doing it as well, and peer pressure did play a big factor in it as well, I would say. Like, these guys were doing it often, they would have the funds, they're planning things, and once my money ran out, I didn't have the funds to be doing all that. So I low-key wanted to do it more so I could join in with them doing them things.
Did you ever feel fear at the time?
Initially, I did feel a little bit of fear. At the time, I was small as well, and the addicts were quite big. Sometimes they would get a bit aggy, in a sense. For my own safety, if they were getting a bit rowdy, I would just give them like a free item, if you know what I'm saying, because I just didn't want the problems, and that would initially cool them down, take their attention away from me.
Each free gift came with a price. Mike's wages would be deducted if he brought back less than the dealers expected. When you look back on that now, what do you think of the 16, 17-year-old who was being made to do this and this was what he had?
Looking back at it now, it is very crazy to think because I had potential in other aspects of life. So it kind of does bug me that the younger me did go down that path.
8 months in, Mike's parents found evidence of what he was doing.
They did get hold of my phone and they did kind of see what was going on. And then she got in contact with my father. And then father gave me like a stern telling off. And they wanted to move me away from all this stuff, all the way up to...
The Midlands?
Yeah, the Midlands, to get me away from it.
His mother moved them both across the country.
At first, I was like, no, what are you guys talking about? You guys are talking nonsense. Obviously, I was denying a lot of things as well. I did resist it a lot, and then I didn't really have a choice.
Can you tell me how you felt when you arrived?
When I first arrived in Coventry, it was kind of like how can I say, it was pretty weird because there wasn't red buses and stuff like that. Initially, I hated it. Like, I did hate it for quite a bit at first until I really settled down and I just adapted to it.
How did you feel being away from the people who were essentially exploiting you to sell drugs?
At the time, it was like, cool, I don't have to see this guy again. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm back being broke again. I'm just stuck in my home now, no friends.
Your parents want you to have a fresh start away from the activities that you were drawn into. Did you want your life to change?
I didn't only because I never saw the issue there and then. So I just thought, this is cool, I could carry on doing this. So I didn't really want my life to change.
What was the moment you realised something was going to happen when you got to Coventry?
It's pretty much the same thing. You live in a certain area, like a block or a state, and there's always this one older guy or couple of people that's always in that area. And as I was walking, he would do the exact same thing, just shout me over, and we had a conversation.
And how long had you been in Coventry before he stopped you walking down the street and shouted you over?
I'd say like a month or 2 months. I've seen him consistently in the same area.
And how long was it before he asked you to run an errand for him?
It wasn't that long after meeting him. I don't think it was no more than a week as well. He just asked me if I wanted a shot for him.
And shot means to sell drugs, right?
Yeah, to sell drugs.
It's like history repeating itself. How did you feel?
At the start, because it wasn't hard drugs at the start, he offered me to sell weed, like cannabis. So obviously I smoked cannabis. I thought it was a kind of like, it wasn't that deep compared to the other drugs. I'm thinking this is 10 times more safer than selling crack and heroin. So as I was selling the cannabis, I realised I wasn't making nowhere near as much as I was selling crack and heroin. So I did eventually transition over to doing it again.
Mike had escaped running drugs for a county lines gang in London. But in the Midlands, it was only a matter of months before a new group roped him into selling crack cocaine and heroin once again. And they started sending him around the country to deal.
Middlewich, Cardiff, Telford. I was sent quite a few places.
And how were you travelling there?
On train.
How did you feel like travelling up and down the transport network with a couple £1,000 worth of drugs in your bag?
When I was going them long places, that's when I really started like, cool, this is a bit risky because like, you know, on the trains, there's always officers or there's all them law enforcement's around. So I was very, very, very nervous going on the trains. Normally, when you're doing cross-country trips like that with large quantity of drugs, they would tell you to bank it.
What does that mean?
Put it in your arse. But obviously, I wouldn't do that. I would just put it around my crotch area to avoid, if you ever got stopped and searched, it would be all right.
Are you aware of other young people, like your peers, who were involved in this type of activity, banking it?
Yeah, because a couple of them would encourage me to do it, saying, yeah, it's calm, it's more safe, but I just couldn't.
Was there a point where you thought, I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, there was a key moment when I was in Cardiff, because I wasn't home for a very long time. My mum called me saying, come home, this, that. I'm saying, I'll come home later. Later never came. And then I got a phone call from the police asking me where I'm at. I told them, I lied, obviously, and they tracked my phone down. And then they came to the place where I was staying, but luckily I left literally 3 minutes after. At that moment, I was like, yo, I could have got arrested with so much drugs on me.
You left, and then 3 minutes later, the police arrived.
Yeah.
When you look back, why couldn't you step away?
Truly, I just still wanted the money. And plus, at the time I was there, I never made as much money as I wanted. So I was like, I'm not leaving here with nothing.
Can you talk to me about the day you were caught?
Yeah, I was arrested in Cheshire. The day I was caught was a sad day. It was a normal day. It was supposed to be my last day as well. I was probably going to go in like a couple hours. The conditions was probably the worst one I've ever seen. Obviously there was cats in there. It stunk. It was very dirty.
Where did you sleep?
I just slept upstairs on the bed. I didn't really feel comfortable because I never took off any part of my clothes. Like, I just had my shoes on and everything. But the bed was somewhat decent. So that's the only place I could really chill in a sense. When I'm doing all these things and I really saw how messed up the yard is, the house, sorry, I started to question, what am I really doing here? I was sitting down, the house gets raided, I'm hearing police, I'm panicking now, I'm in the upstairs in the master bedroom, everyone downstairs is getting arrested, all the addicts. I'm sitting upstairs panicking, I hear them come up the stairs. Obviously, because I accepted my fate, I just threw the package like under the dresser and I just sat there. I couldn't really do anything. They just arrested me.
What was in the packet?
Dead drugs.
Right. Was it Class A's?
Yeah, Class A.
Okay, so you're arrested. Were you taken into custody?
Yeah.
When you were arrested, what did the police officers tell you when you were in the room?
Well, the one that arrested me was the worst one out of all of them. He was moving a bit too aggressive, even though I was compliant. He was kneeling on my chest. But the other ones, they were sound. I wouldn't say understanding, but yeah, they also did speak to me saying that the guy that sent you here doesn't like you because previously, before me, the same house got raided for the same thing.
How did you react to that? Did you think this guy had your back? And then to find out that the police officers are telling you he didn't, what was the effect of that?
At first, I was a bit shocked because I thought me and him was kind of close. Like, I thought we was cool. Prior to that, we was chilling on the same area, like the same block. We was smoking together, having a laugh. Like, we was doing typical things that you would do with your mates. But when he told me that, I really did start questioning literally everything from that day on because I was very, very shocked that he never told me previously that this house has been raided. He really did kind of like treat me as another expendable guy just for his own gain.
What happened next? Were you charged?
Yeah, I was charged. And the officers as well were moving a bit excited because the one that I said before was moving a bit crazy. He was the one that was excited because he was telling me, you're 18 now, yeah, you can go jail for this.
Did the guys who put you in those properties, did they ever explain to you how the law worked, or did they ever try and say, because of your age, you're less likely to get into trouble with the law?
Yeah, precisely. They would say that. They would say that because you're younger, you're less likely to get arrested. And it did happen a few times.
What do you mean by that?
In the Coventry, there was people that was younger and they did get arrested and they just got like basically a slap on the wrist pretty much. So he would use that a lot and say them things.
Okay. Sitting in the cells at the police station, Mike felt the gravity of the situation.
I was just scared.
Scared of what?
Going to jail because I knew there was a lot of drugs on me. So I was just thinking, yeah, this is my life over with now. I was just deep in, like, would I really be sitting in these cells for a couple of years because of some little action I'd done? That's when I realised, like, prison cannot be for me.
He was released on bail, and while Mike was waiting to appear in court, there was a knock on his door. At the time, the Home Office funded an anti-violence programme in his area called SERVE, and he was assigned a mentor from the charity St Giles Trust. Her name is Nikki.
She did seem nice. She was very understanding. She would give me these little lectures about stuff, my future really and truly, and getting away from that lifestyle. She would tell me about how it's not worth it and the consequences of it, talking about if I don't change, I could end up like here. At the time, I was half-hearted with listening to what she had to say because I was still kind of involved.
Over time, things began to shift. From what it sounds like as well, having spoken to you, you weren't able to open up to your family at the time, but here's someone working for a project who are here to help you. Did you feel that you could talk or unburden yourself?
Yeah, most definitely. I could actually speak to her about situations that I could never speak about with my family because she was very, very understanding. Setting me up for my future and stuff, which I really did appreciate because no one spoke to me about that previously. I started thinking about what my life would be like if I had a normal job, if I wasn't doing all these things that I did before. Like, I did start to think about the future a lot.
Could you see how your mind was changing and the kind of difference it was having?
Yeah, gradually it was happening that I was changing my mind with certain things and how I moved in certain situations.
It started to sink in?
Yeah, realisation.
You went to court. Can you remember what it was like being in the courtroom?
It was pretty scary because I was in that little glass box. There was officers right next to me. In case the judge said I was guilty, I would have went straight to the cells.
Mike wasn't sent to prison. Instead, he was given over 200 hours community service. And while he did it, despite Nicky's lectures, he was still talking to people from his old life, those involved in dealing, until something happened.
I was going to the shop and no more than 10 seconds after, I see a car and see over 5 occupants leave the car, and obviously I already knew what time it was.
What time was it?
They were on violence because they came out of the car screaming my name. So I tried to run back to my house and then I fell. And then once I fell, I did get stabbed 2 times.
Do you mind me asking, where were you stabbed?
That's right here.
So in your abdomen?
Yeah, right at my side.
Do you know why they did it?
Yeah.
Was it because you left that life behind?
It was partly because of that, yeah.
How did that make you feel?
I was just filled with rage. I just wanted revenge, and I was in a very, very bad mental state for a few months.
What stopped you from seeking revenge?
It was the words of wisdom coming from Nicky and Serve. It also was like a real realization from like, I got stabbed, like, wow, this is very deep as well. Do I really want to live the rest of my life fueled by hatred and all these things?
What's it been like to rebuild your life?
Pretty hard, in a sense, transitioning out of that mindset of revenge and all the people I used to be around. And I did lose a lot of so-called friends and connections, and they wasn't very happy that I wanted to like leave, but I had to kind of see through it and be like, I'm done.
At the time, did you think of yourself as a victim?
No, not at all. That wouldn't have crossed my mind one bit at the time. Because I thought I was doing what's best for me in the moment. Like, I was getting money, I was doing all the things that I wanted to do besides like all these things I never had before. So I never really thought I was a victim until I got arrested and I could have went jail.
Can you see how these men were able to control you? And were you able to see you were being controlled? Or was it only with hindsight?
Yeah, that was only with hindsight, to be fair. I never saw it at all. I never even thought about it. I just thought friends looking after friends. Like, I never really saw it as he's using me for his own gains. When you're in that type of lifestyle and doing them type of things, you really don't see things clearly. Like, you don't really see right from wrong, because what you're doing now, you often think is right. And that's only because of what's around you, the peer pressure, getting the luxurious things. You don't really see the severity of it until it's practically too late.
Do you see yourself as a victim of exploitation?
Yeah.
You took a pause before answering that. Do you find it hard to see yourself as a victim?
In a sense, because I always thought like I was my own boss in a sense. I always thought like, yeah, I'm doing this for myself, for my agendas, no one else's. But in reality, it wasn't for my own benefit. It wasn't for nothing. I was just used for their own benefit instead of my own.
We know that there are about at least 6,500 county lines active in the UK. By design, there's going to be at least 6,500 Michaels. Not everybody has the intervention or has a Nicky in their corner who's giving them lectures. Do you ever think about other people who may have met the guy outside the Morleys or who'd have kind of stopped you as you were walking down the street when you moved to the Midlands? Do you ever think about how they could be affected?
I do think about it, especially because I feel like I find myself quite lucky to have Nikki and Serve to come to me. I can only imagine what people without that type of support are going through now.
What do you say to other young people who might listen to this, or to the parents who might listen to this and worry that they might be at risk of exploitation or criminal exploitation?
To the parents, I would say, definitely create a very strong relationship with your kids. Be really in their lives, their outdoor lives as well, their friends, who they hang around with, obviously, because if my parents would have known, obviously it's my fault, I know, but if they would have known, maybe it could have been prevented.
Do you really believe it's your fault?
A little bit, because I feel like I know what right from wrong is, obviously. But when I was younger, I was a lot more gullible and stuff, but there was a couple instances where I could have said no. But I kind of let peer pressure and stuff take control.
What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to do now?
I just want to live a peaceful life, to be fair. I do want to help kids, people who was in my situation. Because when I left it, I did used to talk to my friends about all the things that I did go through, and I did speak to only one person that did stab me. I spoke to him about life and stuff, about he should get away from it as well.
How was that meeting? I mean, you talked about wanting revenge. How did you control those emotions?
It wasn't face-to-face, but it was over social media. It was very hard. Like I said, I always wanted revenge. I hated these guys my whole life. I really despised of them. But after going through all that, nearly losing my life to getting stabbed and me nearly losing my life to go in jail, it was very eye-opening, and I didn't really feel no type of way towards him, because I know when we're in that lifestyle, it's like you're under a spell. You really don't think straight, and there's really and truly a rabbit hole when it comes to young people doing county lines. I just want people to have more awareness on why they're doing it and how to help them from getting out from doing it.
Tomorrow, in the final part of our County Line series, we'll hear from politicians and police officers about what they're doing to tackle county lines and how to stop kids like Mike from falling under the spell of criminal gangs. I want to say thank you to Mike, Nikki White and the St Giles Trust. The producer today was Kate Lamble. The executive producer was Dan Box. Sound design and theme composition were by Mal Lassetto. If you would like to get in touch about this story, you can send us an email at story@thetimes.com. I'm David Woode. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.